Senior Trump advisor Elon Musk has faced repeated and very personal attacks since he's teamed up with President Trump and started Doge. The left has called him everything from a con man to an oligarch, and even worse than that. Well, now Musk says he is done with this, and he shot back at Bowman's comments, posting, "I've had enough, lawsuit inbound."
I've been saying it for a while.
Yes, you have.
I've been saying that I think Elon Musk believes he's president. I do.
Well, you've been calling him vice president.
I've called him vice president. I called him president because I don't know what JD is doing. I hardly ever say. I don't remember the last time we even talked about JD.
You're right. He's planning the presidency when they get rid of Trump.
So you think it's Musk Vance?
Possible.
Hey, you know who? Stay away from the stairways. Because, people put the leg out to trip you going down the stairs.
Picture Elon Musk drinking a cappuccino while watching The View and then abruptly declaring, "You know what, let's end this circus. Get popcorn because this isn't just a legal drama. It's Musk versus mayhem, and the meltdown is amazing." Fast. Forward to a $200 million defamation lawsuit, and the woman is fumbling like it's a Black Friday sale on dignity. Did Elon just turn daytime talk into daytime bankruptcy? Did Joy unintentionally insult a man who actually builds rockets for fun?
Shrews of The View couldn't sink any lower. They go and surprise you by mocking a cute little child. Apparently, Elon Musk's 4-year-old son, X, is fair game because Whoopi Goldberg has decided to mock his name.
Yesterday, Elon Musk took his son X to a press conference. I did not name the child. And I don't want to hear any more mess about our names, okay?
It all began on a typical weekday, the type of day when Elon Musk typically tweets something cryptic about AI becoming your mother, or introducing a new cyber toaster with rocket thrusters. However, Musk chose to do something even more chaotic. Then reveal his next dystopian side project. He sued The View for $200 million in defamation. Indeed, The View. The show is most famous for combining misguided moral outrage and uninvited ranting with morning coffee.
X is an adorable name, and perhaps a grown woman who named herself Whoopi should refrain from mocking a 4-year-old for the name his parents gave him. Yes, Whoopi picked that name for herself. She's actually Karen Elaine Johnson. Now, how did Karen become Whoopi? You're going to love this. According to Goldberg, once I started getting parts in plays, I wanted a name that sounded more interesting. Karen Johnson wasn't it. Some people at the rep called me Whoopi because I would let loose with a fart. Just charming.
It seems that Elon had finally reached his billionaire limit, and who could blame him after years of panelists screaming and making fun of his every move? From the outrageous choice to enter a door in an odd way to the illegal act of owning Twitter. He had had enough when daytime drama starts to target you like the last boss in a soap opera, and even the guy building spaceships starts grabbing for his legal missiles.
I'm getting some flack because I said that Musk was pro-apartheid. I don't really know for sure if he was. He grew up at that time when apartheid was in full bloom before the great Nelson Mandela fixed that. He was around at that time, but maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. He might have been a young guy, too.
Might have been.
So don't be suing me, okay, Elon? They're allowed to say any lie they want, but we have to be really strict. That's why this show's important.
Yeah, it is.
The lawsuit read like a vendetta disguised as legalese, and Musk's lawyers claimed that the show had done something far worse than offend his delicate feelings. It had crossed into the realm of defamation so bold it made tabloids look scholarly. This wasn't just a slap on the wrist. It was a thermonuclear, gold-plated, diamond-encrusted lawsuit served with a side of cease and desist fury. Musk didn't want a retraction. He wanted financial annihilation.
So, I think we need to be very cautious about anything that is anti-meritocratic and anything that is that results in the suppression of free speech. Those are two of the aspects of the woke mind virus that I think are very dangerous. Is that it's often anti-meritocratic. You can't question things. Even the questioning is bad. So, another way to almost synonymous would be cancel culture. And obviously people have tried to cancel you many times.
Many times.
Yeah, I mean,
every week.
Yeah.
From left and right. I've had it.
And when your brand is built on innovation stock prices and pretending you're Tony Stark with fewer facial expressions, that kind of damage costs big. Now imagine the ladies of The View realizing they poked a billionaire beehive. No, not a real one. Musk hasn't invented that yet, but close enough the lawsuit dropped like a meteor on their glitter-drenched soundstage. Suddenly, it wasn't just about gossip, bad takes, and designer coffee mugs, it was about liability. And that's when the panic set, in off-camera. Of course, on camera, it was still business as usual, performative concern, smug laughter, and general confusion about how the internet works. But back at the legal offices of the network, alarms were blaring lawsuits like, "This don't just bruise egos. They rattle executives." The View isn't some independent YouTube show hosted out of a mom's basement. It's a major production with contracts, advertisers, lawyers, and executives with expensive suits and ulcers. Suddenly, daytime televisions. Resident Chaos Cauldron was looking like a financial black hole.
Musk now being a special government employee, which means he has top security clearance, but he doesn't have the obligations that a full federal employee has, so he doesn't have to give the same amount of disclosures. He has less conflicts of interest. And it seems to me that when I put my legal hat on, what Donald Trump is trying to do is he's trying to expand the powers of the executive branch. The top of the judicial branch is the Supreme Court, which he has packed with loyalists. So in my view, I think he's causing a constitutional crisis intentionally so that this goes to the Supreme Court. And if the Supreme Court, ladies and gentlemen, say, yeah, he can do this, our Constitution, as we've known it, is basically going to change forever. It will not be the Constitution that the framers of our government, our country.
And it struck them at that moment. Elon Musk wasn't just trying to clear his name. He was coming for the bank accounts. All of them. A $200 million defamation suit is not the kind of thing you just settle with a fruit basket and a forced apology. Number? That's the kind of thing that sends HR departments into a spiral, causes emergency budget meetings, and makes ad sponsors disappear faster than a SpaceX prototype. Now, if you're wondering what exactly. The View said to trigger this galactic level retaliation, the answer is pretty much everything. Always they had over time transformed Elon Musk into their favorite public punching bag, whether it was mocking his ventures, speculating wildly about his motives, or reducing him to a one-dimensional Bond villain. The View had made a side hustle out of billionaire roasting, and while everyone loves a good roast, Elon decided this one was overcooked and overdue for consequences. Cue the financial fallout. ABC, the parent company of The View, suddenly found itself in the awkward position of choosing between daytime drama and daytime debt. Executives started privately calculating projected payout amounts, legal fees, and possible PR pitfalls. Spoiler alert. When the most popular portion of your talk show is followed by a bill the size of a private island, it doesn't look good. You might want to reconsider your content.
Information is another person's information. The point at which you said that there is this is misinformation, like who is going to decide that?
You accept that misinformation can be dangerous, that it can cause real-world harms, that it can potentially cause.
Yeah. So the point I'm trying to make is that the BBC itself has, at times, published things that are false. Do you agree that that has occurred?
I'm quite sure the BBC have said things before that turn out to not be true.
Correct.
It is, whatever it is, 100-year history, I'm quite sure.
Yes. Even if you aspire to be accurate.
Chaos prevailed behind the scenes. Editors began searching through archives as if they were concealing state secrets, and the show's producers started nervously going over previous episodes, hoping they hadn't unintentionally called Musk the reincarnation of a Bond villain riding a flamethrower. Elon was thriving, and for once he didn't need to post a meme to take over the headlines. The lawsuit itself became the news, and let's face it, Elon loves nothing more than being the main character of Earth. Meanwhile, the View hosts were busy, acting like nothing was wrong and that nothing was burning. Even the wardrobe department probably wondered if someone could sue over the fashion crimes alone. Here's where it gets delicious. This wasn't simply a dispute about sentiments. Musk was likely sipping his third espresso martini while watching. snippets of the show, and figuring out how much harm each remark would cause. When the same show repeatedly suggests that you're unstable, unhinged, or secretly controlling the moon, well, maybe not the moon, but close, it starts to look like intentional character assassination, especially when it's broadcast to millions of people every day through a network pipeline as vast as Musk's ego, according to a strong argument put forth by Elon's legal team.
This is not something you should import from America. Please don't import the woke mind virus. It's bad. Essentially, to summarize maybe the woke mind virus, it consists of creating very, very divisive identity politics. So it actually amplifies, mind virus, in my view, amplifies racism, amplifies, frankly, sexism, and all the isms.
And let's not forget the sponsors. Oh yes, those delightful corporations that pay top dollar to advertise during the View scheduled chaos. They don't love legal firestorms, and they especially don't love being linked to $200 million lawsuits. Within weeks, some of them started to reevaluate their commitments. After all, would you want your toothpaste ad to run just before someone is accused of defaming a billionaire who owns half the internet and builds space rockets? So the quiet shuffling retreat began as advertisers tiptoed out, PR managers launched damage control missions. Network executives who had previously happily put up with the show's daily nonsense suddenly developed a severe allergy to controversy, and the viewable, yes, cancelable, not due to dwindling ratings or cultural backlash, but rather because Elon Musk transformed their casual jab into a ticking financial time bomb. Suddenly, the core of the viewpoint, its incessant opinions, its daily outbursts, and its group therapy masquerading as current affairs had turned into a liability. It turns out that when you poke a billionaire who literally invented reusable rockets, he might treat your bank account like one of his test launches. This wasn't simply a legal issue, it was a wake-up call to all the arrogant panelists who believed that taking hot takes without consequences was a given.
It's pretty much an echo chamber with The View, and with all of the things that have been said. Ronnie T-Shirt's talking on this program about how Whoopi Goldberg was concerned that Donald Trump is going to break up interracial marriages for some reason, which I still don't know where that came from. But the one thing that you did know for sure is that it was going to get a little hysterical over there. Let's check in with the ladies of The View and see how they process this. Yes.
And now for the real deal. In the best case scenario, The View would cough up a mountain of money, make a heartless statement about journalistic integrity, and limp into another season with fewer sponsors and a lot more lawyers. Elon may not even care about the money when you're worth more than some countries. What's $200 million pocket lint? This was about setting a precedent about reminding the world, and more importantly, daytime television, that the age of unfiltered mockery might come with a price tag. In the worst situation, the lawsuit starts a chain reaction that leads to further litigation, increased scrutiny, and ultimately curtains because the truth. The View did not anticipate being sued by a man who created spacecraft in between petty tweets. Instead, they anticipated furious tweets and perhaps a few memes, but this was not a calculated, targeted financial carpet bombing intended to destroy their program. One caustic segment at a time, and while they fumbled, Elon took to social media, which was ablaze with encouragement, laughing, and memes that likely made Disney's legal department shiver. He didn't even need to reply to the title. The $200 million lawsuit Elon Musk filed against The View was enough to send the internet into a frenzy.
Liz, you know, TV hosts get it wrong occasionally, but this one was a doozy.
Oh, this was deliberate. We all know that Musk's derangement syndrome has taken off since Trump made it to the White House and decided to make this guy his sidekick. Lefties love to hate him. So, of course, that includes the panel of The View, but none more so than Joy Behar, who decided to just go full misinformation, disinformation, spouting her hatred for one Elon Musk.
When a billionaire appears with the legal equivalent of a tactical nuke, the giggly echo chamber of opinion TV isn't so safe. And let's be honest, this wasn't just about a segment or two. It was the slow drip of smugness, the daily cocktail of sass and superiority, all thrown at someone who, for once, had the money and the audacity to say, "Nope, that's gonna cost you." Suddenly, a $200 million lawsuit has transformed every chatty daytime table from live, laugh, love to lawyer liability. Lawsuit. This isn't just a slap on the wrist. It's a full-on media wake-up call delivered with a smirk rather than a subpoena. Now every network with a morning coffee clatch is likely wondering if their next casual insult will result in a six-figure talk show. Previously, talk shows were the safe havens of exaggeration and half-baked hot takes, but Musk just sent a loud, layered message that said, play stupid games, get sued by a rocket man, and here's where the real whiplash begins. There's something a little dystopian about a world where the richest man alive gets to choose who criticizes him, especially when he already owns the social media megaphone and now wants to muzzle daytime TV too. Is this just a man protecting his reputation from the snark machine, or is this the opening act of a billionaire assault on media freedom featuring lawsuits, side eyes, and suppressed sarcasm? The ripple effect is coming, and it's not gentle late at night. It's likely that authors are already cleaning up outdated monologues. While podcast hosts are reviewing their scripts, your favorite sardonic YouTuber is suddenly considering switching to cookery tutorials.
Was not born in this country, who was born under apartheid in South Africa, so has that mentality going on. He was pro-apartheid, as I understand it. Now I'm getting some flack because I said that Musk was pro-apartheid. I don't really know for sure if he was. He grew up at that time when apartheid was in full bloom, before the great Nelson Mandela fixed that. He was around at that time, but maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. He might have been a young guy, too.
Might have been.
So don't be suing me, okay, Elon?
A very verbose way of saying, I just made that up. Imagine if each of us were responsible and clearly supported whatever was going on in our nation of birth.
Well, you know, Joy Behar was born in 1942, and
exactly.
I think Hitler was running around the world in 1942, wasn't he? Oh, she must be a Nazi. For goodness sake, how dumb.
The fear is not of losing a lawsuit, but of drawing one because, let's face it, most creators cannot afford to sneeze close to a lawyer, much less face a $200 million courtroom duel. What's more absurd is that Musk might not even care about winning. Winning is essentially irrelevant. The suit sets off the panic watch as networks begin self-censoring more quickly than a teenager caught Googling something strange on the family computer. Whether it's a gag order or a gag reflex, the outcome is the same. And then we return to the view of the mighty view, once untouchable, reveling in its capacity to mock and righteously rant about anyone and everyone to them. The bold become bland, the funny become scared, and the fearless suddenly become very interested in non-controversial pet videos. The mogul added some clapbacks to the commercial, but instead of laughing, they filed an affidavit, and now their empire of espresso fueled. Outrage may be facing an existential crisis with unpaid legal fees on the side. This is because while they were busy dispersing judgments like Halloween candy, the richest man on the planet decided he was done being the piñata, not by shouting or tweeting, but by weaponizing the one thing no talk show is ready for: consequences. Actual ones, financial ones. The irony is delightful, and they sink instead of merely stinging. A show built on loud opinions, bold judgments, and relentless scrutiny is now potentially undone by the very thing it thrived on. Turns out when the echo chamber gets too loud, sometimes the silence that follows is a billionaire dragging you to court in complete and total calm. Top of the ratings one day, top of the defendant list the next. The view from the top just got a whole lot lower. Musk had weaponized his wealth not to silence critics, but to crush sloppy commentary under the boot of billion-dollar precision. And whether you love him or loathe him, you had to admit it was kind of spectacular, like watching a lion maul a balloon animal. So now the view stands on the edge. What once seemed like untouchable daytime royalty now teeters on the brink of bankruptcy, all because they underestimated the power of an insulted billionaire with unlimited resources and a deeply personal grudge. Who knew that the path to daytime, destruction would be paved with petty jabs and overpriced coffee mugs? And while the audience clutches pearls and executives clutch spreadsheets, Elon simply moves on to his next chaos project: Neuralink for cats colonizing the sun. Who knows, but one thing's clear. If you thought daytime TV was dramatic before, you haven't seen what happens when you make Elon Musk your recurring punchline. Congratulations, you've officially become the First talk show to risk going bankrupt due to a tech tycoon who loves memes. And all you had to do was undervalue the man who enjoys selling flamethrowers and thinks Mars is a good place to go on vacation. Perhaps the next time, stay away from contentious subjects like celebrity splits or which breed of dog most closely resembles your co-host. After all, you'd better make sure your bank account can support the Encore when you go after the guy who treats legal disputes like a sport and public disputes like performance art.